Hi everyone. So for week 2, we just had to apply the skills that we learned this week to either a workplace conflict or a personal one. So I'm going to go with a personal one, and that is trying to find solutions to my dad's medical condition. Let's say person A thought it was best for my dad to go to our home country for um, healthcare, and person B thought it was best for my dad to remain here in the United States. And I was more so the mediator because I was trying to see both sides of the picture and also trying to make sure person A and person B were trying to at least make these decisions respectfully. So in regards to the article on how to resolve workplace conflicts, they first start by setting ground rules, which in this case was making sure that everybody knew to respect each other's opinions, to listen attentively, and also try to put each other and everybody else's shoes. Second, it was to ask participants to describe the conflict and desired changes. So, person A and person B each had the chance to discuss what they saw in the conditions and also what they felt needs to be changed and how he was going to be cared for and what to do and what decisions we were going to make. So then, step 3 actually is to ask participants to restate what the others have said. This occurred when we had to start putting ourselves in the other person's shoes just to start to get an understanding of why person A thought it was best to go outside the country, why person B thought it was best to stay in the country. So we definitely did a lot of that. Then 4 was to summarize conflict based on what you have heard and obtain agreement from participants. So I did this a bit. So I was just basically trying to get ideas from person A and person B, and trying to see exactly what their arguments are and try to see if we can find some agreement on what treatment plan would work best for him. So number 5, which is very crucial, this is to brainstorm solutions. So we did this a lot in order to come up with what we thought was the best solution for his treatment. And it was really just trying to take snippets of, well, not really snippets, but more so trying to weigh the pros and cons of person's A argument of staying in the country, going out of the country, and person B, which is staying in the country. So with person A, we thought, well, obviously in the middle of a pandemic and going into another country that has cases that are, I don't even know if they're worse than the United States, quite honestly, the way we're going, but they're pretty bad, and their care and more the care regarding in regards to the pandemic isn't as strong as the ones here. So we just thought maybe we had to consider what if he catches the virus, or on top of having this medical condition, he has the virus to worry about. I don't know. And there's also the travel restrictions, quarantine for 14 days. Well, then we have to be quarantined if he comes back, and the quarantine he has to deal when he's once he gets there, and it was just going to be a lot. And then also staying here, he would be surrounded by more family members. Um, he can go out a little bit more. He can also be taken care of better because his doctors are here, but also on top of that, the medication that he needs isn't necessarily available compared to how it is in the home country. So then 6 is rule out any options that participants agree on are unworkable. So the biggest one was traveling. So that was one of the hardest decisions because we knew that although obviously the care was going to be a little bit better in the home country, on top of everything else is the fact that the traveling, not only would the cost be pretty expensive, it's on we wouldn't be there with him, and there's a pandemic going on, so it's just trying to avoid him getting another medical condition on top of the one he already had. So let's see. Then 8 was assigned for the analysis of each option to individual participants. So then each person really just had to think about okay, well, what if he stayed or what if he went? And then 9, make sure all parties agree on the next steps. So after we figured out that traveling was just not going to be the best option for him. all all of us really just agreed that, it's better for him to stay, at least that way he can stay maybe for now and then travel once he recovers, and maybe like that will work out, and hopefully by then traveling wouldn't be too scary, or nobody really has to worry about the virus as much as we are now. So we thought that was just the best solution. And let's see, close meeting by asking them to shake hands, apologize, and thank each other for working to resolve the conflict. I mean, there was definitely apologies going around because at times the arguments did get heated. This wasn't just like a one sitting down for one day. It was just a course of almost a week trying to figure this whole solution out, and there was definitely a lot of like anger back and forth, but ultimately we all sat down and just agreed like it's best for him to do this to recover. Then if he has to like take a trip eventually, then he can definitely do that. So I'm gonna wrap it up there, and I will see you guys next week.